And so again, we invite you just to relax, move into the heart, and feel self very present in your body. This is the time that you have all been waiting for. It does not look like how you might have imagined it. We told you at the beginning of this year that humanity was going to have some very difficult experiences. We told you about the financial difficulties that would be arising. There are still more situations which will be coming up for you in this, your 2020. But beloved ones, do not despair. This is a time of transformation. This is a time when you individually and as a humanity can start the process of creating new societies. Societies change slowly, but individually you can move very rapidly. There is an energetic wave of change happening right now. You can use this opportunity for more clarity. There are energies coming to your earth which can support you in this change. It is important for you now, if you really wish to accelerate your creativity, if you wish to raise your consciousness, your vibration, your awareness, there are energies to support you now. We have said recently that there is a window of time right now where you can plant the seeds of a new reality, both for yourself individually and perhaps more importantly, for your societies. So that as you start to move out of this global shutdown, you can realign to a higher experience and expectancy. And you can already see in your societies where there are thousands of people coming out, demanding change, asking for a different way of relating to each other, who are claiming now, we need to honor each other as equals. We need to love and honor each other. We need to support each other. There needs to be food. There needs to be health. Beloved ones, it is time to envisage this new reality. It is of great import, which is why in the past and again in a few moments, we will guide you into a meditation which will bring all your energies together and to project into your future this new reality, bringing in the essence where everyone is honored for who they are, is honored for their individual creativity, is seen as equal between male and female, between countries, between religions. It is a time now to start envisioning freedom on all levels, freedom of movement. For it is so important for you to start to experience other societies, other countries, other ways of life. It is important for you all to live in abundance. And the mind might say, oh, this is not possible. Beloveds, it is not possible if you believe that. Your earth is abundant. You have already the means to feed everyone here on your planet. You have the means to make everyone healthy and wealthy. For what is wealth? What is abundance? Abundance is having everything you need in the moment with a little bit extra to share. Because, beloveds, sharing, giving is an important part of being abundant. If you are holding on to your individual resources, that is not abundance. Share. Because when you share energy, in whatever form, you are opening up the floodgates for more to move through you. So, beloved ones, however little you think you have, start to share. For you can share with your love, you can share with your wisdom, you can share by helping others. There are so many ways that you can give freely, lovingly. It is time now to look inwards. It is time to honor self. It is time to consciously connect to that which we call your superconsciousness. This conscious being, that has always been and will always be. And a small part of this superconsciousness is within the human form right now. Connect more. Your superconsciousness communicates to you through your intuition, through your inner feeling, this gut feeling that you sometimes have, this small voice inside, as it is sometimes described, this intuition, this guidance that comes to you, which if you can catch it, follow it, you will find it takes you along a path of great joy. It takes you along a path of what is most appropriate for you in the moment. Why? Because it is coming from you. It is coming from that higher part of self. Now is the time to trust self. Now is the time to trust your intuition. Now is the time to reach out to those around you, honoring, respecting, loving, sharing.
And so, beloved ones, the question in the now is always, what do I wish to attune to? Where am I resonating? Your energy of fear, your energy even of confusion is a lower vibration. And in a sense, you could think of it as a bit of a rabbit hole, putting you into a certain trajectory. Even if you just look at the thoughts, if you look at the physiology, you are taken into this rabbit hole where it becomes a little bit harder to expand your focus. The whole of the Stargate work operates by attuning you to the vastness. If you are in fear, there are many ways out. We would suggest one of the fastest ways out of fear is by attuning with the oneness, attuning with the field, as this one Kryon would say. And so we put it to you that clarity in the moment can come from taking one step back and asking self, what am I resonating with right now? And then you will see very clearly, oh, here is the fear. Oh, here is the input from the news media. Ha, that is very silly of me. Let me attune again to my power. Let me attune again to what makes my physiology sing with the energies of the field. Beloveds, in this time of chaos, you do not have to be chaotic. Really take that in. Your vibration creates your reality. These beings who have been in Mount Shasta have been feeling the morphic field, and yet look at their reality. They are all but unaffected. Almost 0 cases of this virus here. This is no accident. Yes, it is a less dense population, but there is also an emanence from the mountain. There is also an attraction of high vibrational beings, human beings with a high vibration coming here. You in your own life are reflecting your own reality, and that is why we say, attune to the oneness. Bring yourself back again and again to that center point and find clarity. When you have a source of news or a source that brings you distress, you can ask the question, what is the agenda behind this message? And then you can start to unravel some of the messaging. You can start to select higher sources for your inputs. And we will tell you very clearly the agenda of this one, Alcazar, and all the guides is to bring you to a higher level of consciousness so you can see the truth for your own self.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. I default now to the shamanic energy of the woman next to me, who perhaps has yet to know her Lemurian name or not, because she speaks of something so profoundly true, that this meeting is being given in the shadow of the mountain. More than that, we sit at the feet of Stargate. These energies are sacred, and they're not just powerful, for they teach. Energies that teach. This is what people feel. Regular human beings who will come to these areas and sit for a while will not leave the same. And you can imagine in this place, in the now, right where we would all sit, these humans here are not only in the shadow of the mountain, some live here, but also in this place where Stargate, I'll say this, the energy of Stargate reigns here. It is more than sacred geometry. There is a consciousness which is broadcast from this, the Stargate. And let me tell you what it's telling you right now. We speak of star seeds. You might say Stargate is a seed, and it is growing in itself. And the growth of the Stargate is in the realization of the oneness that it has been broadcasting since it was created. I want you to know, dear ones, as a planet, where you are. The seeds were planted, and we spoke of that. The timing of the planting, not that long ago, dear ones. Some say, when you look at science, there is evidence that humans started having 23 chromosomes approximately 200,000 years ago. If indeed that was the date of the beginning of the planting, the actual fruition of that didn't happen till approximately 60 or 50,000 years ago, when humanity was ready and the seeds had been planted. Again, imagine a farmer who is planting a forest. And he does it very carefully, and he blesses every single seed. And his forest has tens of thousands of seeds, and he has to furrow it and get it ready and prepare it, and it's going to take a long time. The seeds are finally there, and humanity begins. In the beginning of almost every creation story, especially the one that so many have been told about the angel who came in the Garden of Eden, one of the primary directives is free choice. That humans finally received their soul and could see the darkness and the light, the duality that is spoken of. And there was free choice then for humans to do whatever they wanted, knowing that there was both sides. We've spoken of this before. They were babes in the woods, very, very new at all of this. And immediately, they made a poor choice. Perhaps you've seen this even in your children growing up. You give them information, you give them wisdom, and they make a bad choice. But in the children's story that has become your scripture, you might notice that they made a poor choice according to that which you read, and God immediately judged them on their choice, even though it was free. Now, that is not what we teach. What I want to show you is this, is that in that free choice, dear ones, humanity could go either way. And for thousands of years, the seeds remained in the ground, dormant, alive and ready to be watered. They didn't die. Unlike regular farming, there was no life to them that expired over a certain amount of time, and they stayed. As consciousness started to evolve, dear ones, they started to stir. But consciousness has its own timeline based upon the free choice of humanity, and it grew, and then it started to conquer and war. Most of you understand and know that the marker was set in or about that which is the millennium change, and 2012 being the precession of the equinox measurement. There were those who said, you better get it right by then, because the seeds will start dying. Indigenous said that. It's in the calendars. It's in the prophecies. What happened next was amazing. Higher consciousness prevailed on this planet in certain places, and the Cold War ended. Things started happening that you would never expect to happen, and you went right past the millennium shift, right past 2012, into the area where the floodgates opened and the seeds were watered. That's what happened at 2012. You want to know what 2012 is all about? It was about watering the seeds. Those star seeds containing compassion, higher consciousness, wisdom, knowledge from the stars, all laying there, saying, you can have this if you wish to. You can save the planet if you wish to. You can save yourselves out of fear, out of anxiety, living longer. All those things are there in the ground for you. Gaia spoke of it over and over. Listen to the indigenous and what they say when Gaia speaks, this partner of yours, this symbiotic relationship you have. You always knew it. The indigenous always knew it. And suddenly the planet has started to become a discoverer of core truth. And what is that core truth? That you can live in a society with billions of people and still not war. What a concept. That you can bring a planet together with a greater purpose and higher consciousness, and when you do, you start getting higher inventions, and in that, you'll be able to feed the planet. This is the now. And we're getting there because that's the next channel, and we'll get there. But right now, we're telling you that the seeds were watered in 2012, and it began. The forest starts to grow. The seedlings start to come up, and in the process, consciousness starts to evolve ever so slowly. One of the things that a higher consciousness brings to this party of seeds growing is many of you old souls are starting to finally remember your Akash. And that means you're starting to know what works and what does not based upon planetary experience. This is a first. And you would say, well, what do you mean it's a first? We always had that ability. Oh, no, you didn't. If you had, you wouldn't have gone to war over and over and over and done dysfunctional things repeatedly and repeatedly. You would have remembered that war is dysfunctional, and you didn't. Now you are. Old souls being born today, young people coming in, are starting to question, ask those, even the adults, to tell them one thing, and they're saying, well, it doesn't really make sense. And that is Akashic remembrance. That is evolution of consciousness on the planet. You're starting to see it, especially in the youth, who are starting to look at things and instead of accept them as they are, they're questioning with common sense. Is this true? Does it feel right? Does it resound to what I know because I'm an old soul? Young people and children walking around this planet don't really know their old souls. They may not be part of this meeting. Oh, but there is an internal feeling, been here, done that guides them to places that in your generation, senior, you'd never have gone to. This is the difference between those who were and those who are and those who are coming. And it is at the right time. These forests that were planted so long ago are beginning to blossom. And the seedlings are becoming more mature. And that is what's going on right now. The confusion, you've never seen this before. How does it feel, dear one, to be in a culture, a society, a planet that has no predictions? You've always had predictions. All the ancients gave them to you, the scriptures gave them to you, this would happen, this would happen, this would happen, and suddenly none of them happened because they were all based on a timeline that ended in 2012. You're in a society now that has no one who is seen as the one who would predict, or the ancients who would predict. There isn't anyone telling you what's going to happen. And the reason? Because you're going to create it. You're going to create a future, and in a moment we'll talk about that no one ever has ever expected. Because in society, in history, in humanity, you always expect to happen next what happened before. And that is gone. Welcome to the new normal. And so it is.